He's an actor, screenwriter, and director, best known for creating the Rocky and Rambo series. He was evicted from his apartment and was homeless for 3 weeks before getting into the film industry. He became the third man in history to receive nominations for Best Original Screenplay and Best Actor for the same film. He's Sylvester Stallone, and here are his top 10 rules for success.
What in this whole world turns you on?
Challenge. I really just, I just love it. You know, I love being told no.
Gotcha.
It just means yes. You know?
To you?
Yeah.
What turns you off?
Lack of enthusiasm really turns me off.
My point is I'm pursuing something and nobody looks too happy about it.
But we're just looking out for your interests.
I appreciate that, but maybe you're looking out for your interests just a little bit more. I mean, you shouldn't be asking people to come down here and pay the freight on something they paid. It still ain't good enough. I mean, you think that's right? I mean, maybe you're doing your job, but why you gotta stop me from doing mine? Because if you're willing to go through all the battling you gotta go through to get to where you wanna get, who's got the right to stop you? I mean, maybe some of you guys got something you never finished, something you really wanna do, something you never said to somebody, something. And you're told no, even after you pay your dues. Who's got the right to tell you that? Who? Nobody. It's your right to listen to your gut. It ain't nobody's right to say no after you earn the right to be where you want to be and do what you want to do. You know, the older I get, the more things I got to leave behind. That's life. The only thing I'm asking you guys to leave on the table is what's right. We were running behind schedule, and I had to shoot a montage. I go, oh my God, this montage would have taken like 5 days. So what I did is I came in there, brought everyone into one big room, all the dancers, and had 3 cameras. I took one camera and just stayed with John Travolta, and I worked with him. And the rest, I said to everyone, just dance and do whatever you want. Cartwheels, I said, catch it all, whatever. And then I sent a camera down when they're making the stage. I mean, just with regular light. I said, and just shoot what you can. Just no sound, nothing. And we put it all together and saved 4 days of filming. Wow. But none of that, absolutely zero, was choreographed. Wow. Isn't it funny? I said, okay, John, just do this. Yeah. Cut. Do this, cut. And then I swear to God, and then the other dancers were just over there in the corner. They'd be scratching, doing a somersault, stretching, and you put it all together. Isn't it amazing?
It's the magic of the myth.
Yeah, it's like, so there are no rules. It's crazy, yeah.
I first met Bob Chardoff and Irwin Winkler, and I believe I was there on a casting call. So we're talking a little bit, and I guess I really wasn't right for the acting part. And on the way out, I said, oh, I don't know if it matters, but I do a little bit of writing. He goes, really? I said, yeah, I'm writing this story. I have this thing about wrestlers, and I might do something about boxing. Well, he says, well, bring it around. And I thought, if I hadn't stopped on the way out, you know, that's why I tell all actors or writers, don't give up. Keep talking. Eventually you might hit a nerve somewhere and they go, come on back. And if they didn't say, come on back, or bring it later and let's see what you've developed, I wouldn't be sitting here.
And what I'll try to do is, I write longhand. So on a legal pad I'll go, goes to here, sees his mother, goes to the store, goes. So I'll have like 10 things. Of beats where he's going, gets on a horse, goes swimming, boom, boom, boom. And I do that. And I know in my heart, 80% of it will be no good. But you're getting through the screenplay. You're getting it done. Because the rewrite is always more fun and much more enjoyable. I don't believe people should look for perfection or even 50% perfection in the first draft. It's always going to be kind of this, like a child scribbling, but you did it. And the main thing for me is to, once you have that accomplishment, let's say you could do it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Again, maybe 10% will be good, but you've now have this sense of accomplishment, you did it, and the rewriting process starts, and that's when the fun begins.
Originally, when I brought the script to them, they were fairly enthusiastic about it. The one thing they were not enthusiastic about was me playing the part, and I really can't blame them. At the time, Ryan O'Neal was a candidate, Burt Reynolds, Robert Redford, Jimmy Caan, and they all, were at the top of their game. And so I could see it, but there was something inside of me that said, you know, this opportunity is never going to come around. And I really wasn't used to money, and I had no idea of what I would be missing. But the temptation started to come forward. First, it was 25 grand and $100,000. I go, well, I never heard of 100,000 because I had like $106 in the bank, and like I said, I had to sell my dog, and things were not looking very, very good. My $40 car had just blown up, so I was taking a bus to work, but still, it didn't matter. I wanted to stick with it. Then it went up to 150,000, 175,000. It went up to 250,000. Now my head was starting to spin, and it went up to 330,000, and probably I heard it went up to 360,000, and I thought, all right, you know, you've really managed poverty very well. You've got this down to a science. You really don't need much to live on. I had like sort of figured it out. So I was not in any way used to the good life. So I thought, you know what? If I know in the back of my mind, if I sell this script and it does very, very well, I'm going to jump off a building. And if I'm not in it, there's no doubt about it, I'm going to leap in front of a train. I'm going to be very, very upset. So this is one of those things where you just roll the dice and you fly by the proverbial seat of your pants. Say, all right, I got to try it. I got to just do it. I may be totally wrong, and I'm going to be taking a lot of people down with me, but I just believe in it.
Writing, I almost approach it like exercise. I get up maybe at 4:30 in the morning. It takes an hour to get going. And then I'll start to write about maybe 3 hours, and then it becomes repetitive. And the next day I get up, and even if I don't feel inspired, I'll sit there for those 3 hours until the brain says, okay, you must start to produce something. So I try to write quickly, and I follow a pattern just the way you would be if you were in the Army or whatever, and then that gets me through it quickly. Some writers will take a year, 2 years. Everyone has a different process, but that's what I do. I literally
write better in the morning, like
much
most
better.
great writers.
I used to write at night all the time but I found that everyone died. It was dark. It was creepy. It was really horrible. It was like very depressing. Then I realized Edgar Allan Poe used to write at night. Now I figure out why. If you've never had anything like today, I would go, okay, I'm selling. I can't give up the house,
right.
You know. But if you don't have the house and you don't have anything, and then you're just sitting there and you go, okay, I wrote this for myself, and I don't even know if it's that good. But if obviously someone likes it, I'll regret it. I know I'll regret it, and you know, I bet I say it once a week. I walk around and I say, thank God.
Really?
All the time, all the time. It's like you did one thing right. In life, you can do 1,000 things wrong. You just do one thing right. You go, whew. Wow. It makes up for the other 999 mistakes sometimes. Give up something to get something. And I thought, I didn't have any money, so I had no phone. I painted my windows black, so I didn't know if the sun was up or the sun was down. All I knew is I had to write. And I wrote, and I wrote. It was very bad. It wasn't good at all, but every day it was getting better and better, like a machine, like a muscle, until finally the idea for Rocky came. So the idea is you must fail 100 times to succeed once. That's part of it. No one succeeds the first time. It's learning how to not get disappointed with failure. To understand failure. You only learn when you fail. You don't learn when you succeed. You know, you're too full of yourself. But when you fail, that's when you learn. So that's how I learned. Lucky, I was a failure in New York, and that is the reason I started writing, which made me successful. I had to teach myself early on, expect to fail. Expect it. Covet it, welcome it, it's going to happen, but it's not a permanent state. Right. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Thank you so much for watching. I made this video because Danny Frankel asked me to. So if there's a famous entrepreneur that you want me to profile next, leave it in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. I'd also love to know which of Sly Stallone's 10 rules mean the most to you, is most applicable to your life and your business. Leave it in the comments below. I'm going to join in the discussion. Thank you so much for watching. Continue to believe, and I'll see you soon.